Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Joe Consorti with this statement here. We got Bitcoin sentiment as low as it has been since 2022. Now guys, you got to remember 2022. That was a bear year. The entirety of 2022, the price of Bitcoin just kept going down and down and down and down. And as you guys can see here, red is extreme fear, and then we move our way up the scale. Regular fear is in orange. We got neutral sentiment here in yellow, greed in green, and extreme greed in blue. And so it's crazy to think that at this point in the cycle back in December of 2022 is the same sentiment as we're seeing here, where Bitcoin is just a little off its all-time high. So let's bring up the Bitcoin chart. I'm going to throw that on the daily for you guys just to show you guys where we were again back in December of 2022, right down in here, guys. And Bitcoin price was trading in and around $16,600. And, the fact that sentiment is the exact same as where it is today, where Bitcoin is trading above $100,000 per coin. I mean, it has not been the most exciting cycle. It's been probably the most frustrating crypto cycle so far. But it is interesting. We got some more indication here of the same from sentiment. Traders' moods are fading towards crypto, which is welcome news for the patient. So Bitcoin, with regards to Bitcoin, even bullish, bearish ratios of social media comments are significantly lower than usual. Generally speaking, the Bitcoin sentiment is up. Ethereum is just over 50% more bullish versus bearish comments, less than usual. And XRP, guys, less than half of the comments are bullish versus bearish. One of the most fearful moments of 2025. So for XRP sentiment, you guys can see it down in there. Very, very low. Compare that to, this is just a chart showing the last week or so. But guys, I think a good indication that sentiment is down. We have to get out of this fear and greed. I mean, I got to say, we got to get up above $4 trillion for the market cap, which is still not happening at the moment. Within the last 24 hours, crypto prices have just kind of been all over the map, up, down, sideways. And, a lot of these coins are just up or down by single digits at the moment. So we're not seeing a lot of large swings in the space. But Ian Binns has got his eye on this. Tony Valentino says he does not like dates. Now, this is a tweet, by the way, from 2019. He doesn't like dates, but two important dates he's personally looking at: November the 12th and November the 23rd. And the reason I bring this up, yesterday was November the 12th, 2025. On the XRP chart, interestingly enough, we did see a bit of a pop for XRP price, even though Bitcoin wasn't necessarily moving to the upside. Now, it's interesting because we do have the ETF news, which could be bolstering XRP price. Currently, one XRP is trading for just under $2.50. We're almost at $2.49 per coin. XRP is still holding on, if I'm going to be honest here. I think, the price of XRP still holding on in this distribution pattern is looking very promising. I think for XRP holders, we're not getting below these lows that we saw back in here, back in June, before we did see a new all-time high. So, XRP price staying relatively strong despite the big liquidation event that we saw on October the 10th, 2025. So what else should we consider here, guys? Matthew Hyland here mentioning this just when I thought BTC dominance couldn't look any worse. A wild head and shoulders has appeared on the daily. Now, when he says Bitcoin dominance looking worse, I like to invert that comment and say Bitcoin dominance not looking any better. We want Bitcoin dominance to go down, because when Bitcoin dominance goes down, that means altcoins go up. So let's bring up the Bitcoin dominance here on the chart. This is the daily, and I can see exactly what he's seeing. I mean, I'm looking at the broader structure here for Bitcoin dominance, looking like that bearish pennant pattern, which would hopefully mean that we are going to continue to move to the downside. Let me just get rid of some of that there. But on the daily, you guys can see what he's seeing here, and hopefully that does mean that we are going to continue to the downside. So the two shoulders for the head and shoulder pattern, and the head there means that the trajectory is slated to move further down. So hopefully that is also an accurate indication of where Bitcoin price is going to go vis-a-vis altcoins on the dominance chart. And when it comes to XRP, I mean, we did see that bullish push, which is promising. Arthur here posting this: XRP needs to close a daily candle above the yellow zone first and then break $3.10. Once that happens, we're not talking resistance anymore. Price will just go straight to all-time high, and then we're talking price discovery? Well, that is still yet to be determined. I do agree with this first statement here. The ETF launch could be the trigger, but be careful today. Sell the news, as high probable inflows will not be explosive on the first day. So we got a lot of things to consider here. I'm going to get back to this chart, but what he's talking about here, inflows coming from the Canary Capital ETF. So Eleanor Turret did post this just yesterday. Canary Fund CEO Steve McClure gave me this statement on the XRPC spot ETF. We are very excited to go effective with the first single token spot XRP ETF. This would not have been possible without the leadership of Chairman Atkins, Commissioner Peirce, and all the other fine people at the SEC who are pro-free market. So this was the statement from the NASDAQ with regards to that. Guys, this is the news though. The first pure XRP spot ETF is launching today. So XRP spot ETF officially gets a listing notice. According to Bloomberg's Eric Balchunas, the Canary XRP ETF, or XRPC, has received an official listing notice from NASDAQ, which means the process to make it publicly tradable has been finalized. NASDAQ issues an official listing notice when it receives and approves the security for a listing. This is a regulatory and operational confirmation that the ETF is cleared for trading on the exchange. The listing notice essentially signals to brokers, institutions, and retail investors that they can start trading this product starting from the effective date. This means that XRPC will be tradable on the NASDAQ starting November the 13th, which is today. If you guys are watching this video on the day that I'm releasing it, I'm recording this video first thing in the morning, so markets are not open yet. This will be the first pure spot XRP ETF in the United States. However, a slew of similar products from the likes of Franklin Templeton and Bitwise are also in the pipeline. So hopefully, just to get back to this, hopefully this means that we will see XRP move based on the FOMO. And I feel like, this is already why we're seeing XRP price, sort of kind of shooting up a little bit here compared to Bitcoin. This is on the anticipation that, hopefully the ETFs will come out of the gate and really kind of knock our socks off. This is up about 7%. But, getting back to this comment here, we really do need to get up past this level here. And, he does make a very, very good point. The base before we saw that liquidation on October the 10th is really a good, solid level of resistance that we have to break through, I think, for XRP in order to feel comfortable again. Here, let me throw this on the daily, and I'm just going to show you guys what he means here. Actually, on the hourly, you guys can probably see it a little better. So if I throw that on the hourly, and I'm just going to get rid of some of that, the liquidation event was here, as you guys can see on the chart. And if we can just get up above, like, let's say $2.76 or so, that again was former support, right, before we broke down, and now we've just been under that former support, right? If we can get up above that and start forming a base on that again, that would be positive. He says, though, getting up above $3.10 would be ideal, and that would be this next level of resistance right up here, $3.10. So then it's off to the races, guys, up towards new all-time highs. For more information, though, on how I'm treating this market, you guys can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. It is only $5 a month. I think it's fairly affordable for what you're getting. You can pick my brain over there. I do respond to all the DMs from my Patreon subscribers, and we can discuss market strategy, predictions of where price is going to go next. I also have the $15,000 plus altcoin portfolio that I'm still pontificating about. Are we going to be in a prolonged cycle? Is this it for cryptocurrency before we see a mega bearish downturn? Follow me, patreon.com/workingmoneychannel for all that and more. Then we have the XRP dominance chart. This coming from Crypto Insight UK. I'm going to play you guys a clip of his analysis here when it comes to XRP price and, dominance in particular. Listen to this.
Things like XRP and XRP dominance, XRP Bitcoin, you can see, for example, that XRP itself has the opportunity to rally here. This is XRP dominance. It's broken out of this downtrend. Could it come back and retest the top of this trend line before continuing? Yes, of course. Could we just hold this cluster here? We're just tapping into it now. This would technically be now support, which would look like this. Could we just hold this level of support and start to go again? Yes. So it's just up in the air. I'm watching closely because I do think there's a world where alts do well here and Bitcoin still chops down into that area. I think it's a really hard call to make, and it's quite an extravagant call to make, especially at this point when everyone's bearish towards life. But I think it's one to take into consideration.
Bearish towards life is a good way to put it there. So XRP dominance actually looking fairly good on the charts. Just bring that up real quickly, and I'm gonna throw that on the daily. I think he had it there on the daily. So, I mean, you guys can see. Let's get rid of some of that. It is starting to trend back up. If we do back test some of those levels, I mean, XRP dominance very healthy. Even if you just look at the regular here, it's going to bring up the regular chart for XRP again. This structure has not broken down for an entire year. Okay, this is healthy, guys. We moved up and we stayed up. I mean, there was some movement in between, but we've held up support for a very, very long time now. And hopefully that means XRP is going to maintain its momentum. I mean, we got a lot of tailwinds that will hopefully support that thesis. Larry Fink made a comment in Davos, this coming from Bitcoin News. He said sovereign wealth funds are debating how much to allocate to Bitcoin. So, when we think about cryptocurrency in terms of, the broader market, the global market, now all eyes are on Bitcoin and, other cryptocurrencies as well. Larry Fink focuses on Bitcoin here. He says if they all move only 2 to 5%, the price of Bitcoin could skyrocket to $700,000. And as economic conditions in the world worsen, guys, this could be more of a reality.
If you're frightened of your debasement of your currency, or you're frightened of your economic or political stability of your country, you could have an internationally based instrument called Bitcoin that will overcome those local fears. And so I'm a big believer in the utilization of that as an instrument. And so if that becomes true, and you see that it could be a proper hedge against maybe hope security or equities. Yeah. The question is, could you see a 2 or 5% allocation? I was with a sovereign wealth fund during this week, and that was the conversation. Should we have a 2% allocation? Should we have a 5% allocation? If everybody adopted that conversation, it would be 500,000, 600,000, 700,000.
But everybody has to adopt that conversation first. And if Bitcoin went up to 700,000, well, you can only imagine where the altcoins would go from there. So wanted to thank Bitcoin News, wanted to thank Crypto Insight UK, XRP Crypto Wolf, Eleanor Turret, Arthur, or XRP Arthur here. We got Matthew Highland, Ian Binns, Santiment, of course, and Joe Consorti for posting that. Now, guys, Johnny Crypto mentions this alert. Now, I know all you guys are excited and hoping for somewhere between $10 and $589 for an XRP tomorrow with the Canary Capital ETF incoming, but I encourage everyone to temper their expectations. So stay calm. Remember, guys, one ETF cannot do it. I mean, even though we did see a price increase of about 7% overnight, that is just, if I'm going to guess, that is just people front-running this thing, hoping to gain a few extra points on the back end. The good news is, though, when I asked Gemini if these ETF issuers can purchase the XRP in advance, the answer was yes, the issuers must buy some XRP in advance, but it is only a small, specific amount called seed capital, not the large-scale holdings you might think of. And they summarized it like this. The ETF issuer will buy a tiny amount of XRP in advance for seed capital, but they cannot pre-purchase months worth of expected XRP before the launch. So essentially what that means, and here's just a point to that effect. So they can buy a tiny amount of seed capital, but cannot pre-purchase months worth of XRP before the launch, which means, guys, they're going to have to purchase as people are buying up the ETF. Remember, there were only 20 XRP ETF listings, but only one XRP ETF is launching tomorrow. So we want to see the price action and order books get eaten up based on inflows of the one ETF, as that can give us some insight on how the price action might react when the rest of them launch over the next few weeks. So what this is proposing over the next few weeks, I mean, if we get 7% on a front run, and let's say it goes up 30%. And 30% is not a lot. 30% XRP is only at around $3.05. Well, now you multiply that, let's call it 20 total over the next couple of weeks. So if we see, let's say, 30% appreciation off 20 XRP ETFs, guys, does that mean we could go up 600% in the next couple of weeks? 600% here. Let's just throw it there. 600% brings us to $16.55. Whoa. I find that interesting because that is the conservative case here for Eggreg Crypto's prediction that I posted yesterday. If you guys didn't catch that video, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. Is it a possibility? Because don't forget, these issuers do have to purchase XRP steadily. They cannot purchase at a discount. They cannot purchase all at once. So it's not like their coffers are filled with XRP at the moment. That's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think, and for more opinions on where I think the market could go, follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. And check out the merch store if you guys are interested in, maybe helping to support the channel by purchasing some merchandise, tangible t-shirts, mugs, shirts, hats, gifts, all kinds of things over there. Check it out. Link is in the description of the video. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.